Welcome to Lockwood, Missouri. Beautiful mural here, right in the middle of the town, and pretty interesting place to explore. So without further ado, let's take a little walk through this downtown area and learn a little bit more about the history of Lockwood. We are starting here at the railroad at Lockwood because that's really important to why it started. But before we get into that, Dade County, which is where we're at, is in the southwestern part of Missouri. I recently did a video about Greenfield, which is the county seat, and Lockwood is the second largest town in Dade County, and just a little bit smaller than Greenfield. It's in the western part of Dade County, and in 1881 is kind of an interesting story of how it got started. They had a railroad come through here in the western part of the county, and they were trying to figure out where to start a town. There were three different men that tried to start towns basically in this same area. One was named Davis, one was named Taggart, and one was named Eldridge. And in fact, Davis and Taggart owned land adjoining to each other, and they tried to start towns on their own land. Taggart would decide to move over to Davis's land, and then vice versa. And then Eldridge was just not too far away from there, and they decided to eventually put the town on Eldridge's land. And that's where the town basically became what it is today. And they decided to name it Lockwood because there was a guy named J.E. Lockwood who was the general passenger and ticket agent for the Frisco Railroad, who would come down from Kansas City, and he would hunt with the men. And so that's the roundabout way of how Lockwood came to be. It used to be three different towns and became one town, and there in 1881 it was called the Queen City of the Prairie, and it became the commercial hub of Dade County and a top shipping point. And you see a lot of these old buildings here are very historic looking. They've kept them in good shape because it's been a busy town that's been successful. The early settlers were predominantly German, and a lot of these small towns, they struggle if they're not the county seat. And a lot of these more in the rural areas like Dade County. And Lockwood has maintained viability. They have a golf course here, they have parks and a city pool and recreation areas, and so they've been able to maintain a good population, of which now is 846. The population went all the way up to 1,041 in 1990. That was as high, but it's basically been between 800 to 1,000 for over 100 years. And as you can see there now, it's down to 846. Really cool downtown, and let's take a look around the rest of Lockwood.